due to be -8 tomorrow. Then it warms up a little bit on Sunday, but it's overcast and snowy. We could have fog tomorrow. Let's keep our fingers crossed that we don't. The sprint is for the women a 7.5 kilometer race with 2 chutes. How does the penalty for each shot, what is it in percentage terms compared to the individual, which is the one where the shooting is most important? Judging by the look of your face, it's not on the tip of your tongue.
It's in the individual, I think we're looking at over 2%. In today's race, it's just under 1%. You've probably done the maths on it more than I have.
50 seconds if you get 2 penalties, or what is it, 25, let's say 25 seconds for each penalty.
It's actually, yeah, when you look at it, the girls are taking 24, so 48, 50 seconds, but the race should be won in around, what, 22, 23 minutes. 22, 30 today maybe, so it's actually not that far different from the 1-minute penalties off the 15-kilometer individual.
Well, there's your start order, and Dorothy Vera you see going off in the mid-20s. We've got 33 as Durant Abert. Kaisa Makarainen brilliantly placed, just a minute behind Durant Abert. She'll get the markings. And there's number 50. Great to see her back. I know she had an enormous number of fans before she didn't actually retire. In 2015, she took the year off because she had mononucleosis. Then, of course, got married to Ole Einar. They've now got a kid, so she's been busy over the last couple of years, Mike. It's always interesting to see what level they're at when they come back from that sort of a break. And we only have to think of Durant Abert, who absolutely blew us away with what she did in Kontiolahti in the World Championships.
And you know, I think we need to expect something miraculous today as well from Domracheva. She has been training. It's been a fairly tough time, but she maybe just could get on the podium today.
Well, that would be incredible. I would be surprised. Well, look at that. I was trying to remember the last day we were in Oberhof and saw weather like this. It's many, many years. I think we had one year where we had snow and mist and wind, and then on the final day for the mass starts, it cleared.
Yeah, and look, they've changed quite a lot this year in Oberhof. There's a new team area, new spectator area on the Bergsteig section of the track. New snow store. They've obviously created a tunnel here as well, 1.4 kilometer snow tunnel. They keep it at -6 all the time. You can ski every day of the year here.
Well, and I have to say, I don't think it generated the atmosphere that we've had in the past, and it's something to do with the shape of the stadium. There's not quite there aren't as many rows up behind the commentary boxes as usual. That might have something to do with it.
And you're right, the spectators down by the bridge, that's quite a bit away from the heartbeat from the range to get that lovely racket, that noise when you're shooting from the spectators. Anna Frolina there, centre of picture.
Racing for Korea. Racing for Korea.
Former Russian.
Well, that's not unlike the Russians brought in Viktor Arn for the Winter Olympics, didn't they? Who the short track ice skating superstar. And I think he won 3 goals in Vancouver for Korea, and then won 3 in Sochi for Russia.
Well, not sure he'll see the fall of the shots on the targets from way back there at about 130 meters behind the range.
Just a minute or so to go before the start of the women's 7.5 kilometer sprint. Many of the coaches have been on the range for a while, helping the athletes zero their weapons, a crucial part. The wind at 4 kilometers an hour, Mike, it may change as the race goes on, but they're not going to have the problems that the men had yesterday. Just a reminder, in case you missed our little repeat at the start of this program, Martin Fourcade missing 3 in the standing position. He is human. Now, can she make it 2 wins in a row, having taken that mass start in Novo Miesto? Kukalova well dressed up for the conditions here. Very strong skier. She's not the strongest by any means, but she's right up there in the top 5 or 6. I guess it really comes down to her shooting in the stand position.
Great position, great camera shot. You can see the angle from the hip to the knee to the ankle, and especially the explosiveness from the lower part of the leg. I think for me, she's looking on better form than she did before Christmas. Just you get a little indication of that sparkiness from the legs.
Well, we'll have another look at her the first time up the big climb, and we'll see if we think see if we think the same. Everyone feels good for 40 seconds, Mike, and then reality strikes. Vanessa Hintz starting 3. Rosanna Crawford was due off for Canada. Hintz from Shirzé. She's got a personal best of 4th. She did that in the mass start in Novo Mesto. So a podium is beckoning. It could well come this season.
Quite interestingly, Hintz in the sprint race in Novo Mesto, she was 73rd, missing 1, then 3 in the stand. And 2 days later, 4th overall, missing only 1. It really is all about the shooting.
Yeah, similar pattern to Kukalova. I think actually a lot of the athletes were surprised by the atmosphere in Novo Mesto, and a lot of them find it very difficult initially. Takes a while to get used to. Pochafarova won the sprint in Antolz back in 2016, which is it relevant? Well, it does show that at this time of the season she's generally on good form.
Yeah, it's a great shot, Pochafarova in the prone position, 98% hit rate so far this season. Not too good in the stand though.
Yeah, she hit 10 out of 10 in Pokljuka, didn't she? And finished just outside the top 10, 13th, I think she was on that occasion. This is Kukalova up the climb. 1 or 2 rapid downhills here in Oberhof, and then, of course, that new section of the course that you described as an omega, Mike.
Yes, a tricky little section, that. Semi-omega.
Steep climb, certainly.
And just awkward when you're pushing for the end of the race. It's just a little bit extra, which they've thrown in there to spice it up.
247 to 800 meters. That's a tough start.
This is nice skiing, good efficient skiing. She's not opening all the way up. She's holding a percentage back at the moment, and I think that's very sensible. Get the first shoot out of the way and then really open up into your full race pace. I like the way she started. I was watching her in the zero, Patrick, and her stand shoot. That's the rifle's so loose in her shoulder. Often a biathlete wants to get a good hold of the rifle. Whoa, she's normally good downhilling, but that was wide.
And imagine if that was a mass start. She started on the inside of the turn, only just held on to the tracks as she went around the apex. I think that could prove to be an interesting situation come the pursuit, and particularly in the mass starts on Sunday. We'll look forward to them. Vanessa Hintz, is she managing to track Kukalova? Crawford's gone through in 2:29, 5 seconds down. And Hintz might well slip in between the two of them. Not quite. 6.3 the margin.
Well, Vanessa, her strength isn't really her skiing. She's competitive. She'll always set maybe the top 15, top 5 at best ski time. Never quite the fastest. But she really does shoot well more often than not. Surprised she didn't work a little more down this descent, picking up speeds of some 65 kilometers an hour down the fastest section, but you want your momentum from the top.
Now, just to help you predict who's going to win, Mike, we've had 3 sprints this season, 3 different winners, Durana Baird, Dalmaier, and then Akimova, of course, in Novo Mesto. On each occasion, the winner has hit 10 out of 10. In fact, all the podium finishers in the sprints, bar 1, have hit all 10 targets. Similar scenario here?
I think it will be a 10 out of 10 hit today, and I'm feeling good for Dorothy Vera, for Makarainen, possibly a new winner today.
But if, of all the venues, this is one where the winner of the sprint doesn't always hit the targets, usually because we have difficult conditions, but they're a lot easier today. Just looking down the list of those who've succeeded. In 2012, it was Flatland, Neuner in 13, Gusner in 14, Domracheva in 15, and then Vitkova last year, or 2 years ago, because we didn't have a sprint here last year.
Well, you mentioned Vitkova. She missed 2 targets. I know it was a windy day, so the overall shooting wasn't great. She She missed 2 targets and took the win, as you said, 2 years ago.
Yeah, so if we look at the 4, Vitkova's victory, of course, was in Ruhpolding because the tour was moved. But if we look at the 4 previous to that, Domrashova, Gussen and Neuner, Flatland. Flatland at that time was skiing very fast. They are 3, certainly 3 of them, the quickest skiers we've ever had on the tour. So does that say to you, you've got to be rapid to have a chance of winning this sprint?
This course dictates, I think, more so than most dictates that. There's that one big recovery section. Outside of that, it's quite a tough course.
Akimova looking for 2 sprint victories in succession. 96 and 81, her shooting record. Her prone shooting has been brilliant so far this year.
I must say the Russian women's team look a lot stronger this season than we've seen for many years. Well, 4 years ago, the Sochi season was a bit different. Some were getting assistance and were banned for that, but they're certainly looking fast again.
Hildebrand starting number 13. 29 years of age now. Hildebrand, she's been on the podium. She's won 2 World Cup races. And she's had, what, 6 podium finishes in her career, so she has every right to start today thinking that she could be one of those standing on the podium come the end of the day.
And the flags, the shooting range is so calm, and that is really rare at the top of the mountain here. It's 839 meters high on the range, and so often windy. If it's not foggy, it's windy.
10th in the World Cup standings at the moment for Hildebrand. A couple of top 5s here would certainly help her cause. Anaïs Biscon starting 15. Just lost her form a little in Pachuca, I think struggled with the windy conditions there. And she leaves. Is that Kukalova coming in? I think it must be.
It is.
After completion of her first lap. So 2,500 meters gone for the woman that started the race. Kukalova now thinking purely and simply about the shoot. She'll be delighted to see that the flags are virtually still.
That tiny little breeze plays a small part on the bullet as it travels down the 50 meters from the rifle to the target. Barely moving the fall of the shot.
Well, she didn't have too long a look down the range. Mike, I think she saw that it was fairly still. She'll have another look as she settles down into the prone position for shoot number 1.
Well, no messing about there, straight into the position. Magazine was already in. Hooking up into the support, the arm cuff on the left arm. You can see it there at the bottom of the picture.
Relief from the Czech fans. And there are a few of them here.
You can just see the foresight at the end of the rifle, a very wide circular part. Normally athletes prefer darker, thinner, skinnier ones.
That's a good start. It's a good start, but she usually clears the 5 in the prone position. It's the next shoot where she could well be a little bit nervous. Certainly it was the standing shoot where she suffered in the World Team Challenge in the Schalke Arena, Mike.
She missed, yeah, she was missing 3s and 2s.
So far, so good for Kukalova. She sets the pace.
Well, we saw Akimova go out so fast, amazing pace, and she's already, after only 2 minutes of racing, nearly 9 seconds ahead of Kukalova's time. That's quite a pace to start at.
Hintz can't quite match that. She's given away 13 seconds to the fastest, and that was going through the 800-meter mark. So that shows you, 1, that she's not on brilliant form, and 2, that Akimova is flying. 5 seconds clear of everyone else.
Vanessa Hintz, as she laid down into the shooting position, she's 25 seconds slower than Kukalova. Shooting a little faster, though.
That would be worth 5 or 6 seconds. Pujafarova for Russia. Oh, there's another 30 seconds thrown away. That left eye wide open. No blinder on this occasion.
No expression, but through her brain must be flickering disappointment, thinking that has really messed up my race. A quick 50 seconds extra. Ow. Not good. Hope that rifle's all right. You always want to fall forward to save the rifle.
That was Zurevok for Ukraine going down. And we saw Kukalova getting caught out by that corner earlier on, so I think we could see a little bit of drama there today. Vishneskaya now for Kazakhstan. She misses too, just the same as Podjefarova. No real excuses at this stage. It's not an easy entry into this range, is it? Actually, Mike, the new loop, which pushes the pulse rate up, does actually give you a little bit of downhill, a little bit of assistance into the straight that leads into the range. But it looks flat, but it's deceptively hard.
It is, and it is because you think this is an easy entry, but the tendency is to overfry. You think, well, I need to be working harder, it's easy terrain, and the tendency is always to push a little too hard coming into this range.
Chevalier, a second and a first and a 14th in Novo Mesto in the last week of action just before Christmas. A brilliant win in the pursuit, having hit 19 out of 20, and crucially she hit all 5 on the last stand. That was really what gave her opportunity to take the win. Well, there you see the difference in speed between those starting and those coming into the range for their first shoot. Next time Kukalova comes in, it will be for the stand. Looks to have picked the pace up a little.
I think you're absolutely right with that. She's really picked the pace up, realising her early lap pace was not overly competitive. It is now.
Kukalova in 4th at 1.5 kilometres. Akimova still the quickest. Gasparin, Hildebrand and Podjefarova also up in the top 5.
I think that was Jan Matus running alongside, former bronze medalist at World Championships a long time ago.
Dorothy Vera starting 25. Vera, a disappointing 6th in the World Cup standings at the moment. She's had some great races. Actually was on good form in Novo Mesto. She got 2 podium finishes, a 2nd and a 3rd. Takizaki isn't going to match Kukalova even if she hits 5, but with that miss she's going to be at least 35 seconds off the pace. Oh, we'll make that a minute.
That's a pity. She was 22nd in Novo Mesto in this race, but she missed only 1 that day.
Puskar-Chikova.
Second fastest time at the moment into the range, just behind her teammate Kukalova, 9.6 behind.
I'll tell you what's impressive about the Czechs, Mike, is they've had Kukalova, and on the men's side, I guess the first to really strike it big was Michael Schlesinger way back in Antolz at the World Championships. But they've brought the whole team with them. When you take the Swedish team, particularly on the women's side, they've had 1 or 2 absolute megastars, but they haven't managed to bring the whole of the women's team up to that level.
It's unusual, isn't it? When you get success, one person being successful in your team, generally, when you live around these athletes and the same team as them, it lifts the rest of the performers.
Now let's check Akimova's time coming in to shoot. Remember, she was the quickest at 1.5. She was the quickest at just before we came in.
She's actually lost 5 seconds to Kukalova, having had 8 seconds on her early on in the first lap.
So really steadying things down in preparation for the prone shoot. It's paid off. She shot a little bit quicker than Kukalova as well. So this could be tight. 8:29, and she's a lot closer to the end of the range than we saw from Kukalova. Let's have a see. I think the Russian is going in front. The winner from Novo Mesto, the new leader here in Oberhof, Hildebrand. Oh. Well, it sounded like a hit. She certainly broke the rhythm for shot number 5. I'm not sure whether that was an ND or whether she just decided to try and get it away quickly. Either way, it was a mistake. Let's see where it went. Prediction, Mike?
Low, I would say it would be low. Oh, they're pretty good, so you're right, it was a snatch.
Genius. So out comes Hildebrand, the penalty paid, and it's pushed to 18.7. So actually, she would have been competitive. She would have been ahead of Akimova had she put it down. Hildebrand 3 seconds slower than Akimova at 1.5. So she's there or thereabouts, provided she hits 5 in the standing position. And Ace Biscon. Her only World Cup win coming in the sprint format. That was almost exactly 3 years ago now. 2014, Antolz.
Good fast shooting. She was a little behind on her ski time. Kukalova, the butt hook, the end of the rifle under her right arm, it's always quite loose there. A lot of biathletes like to get good pressure into that, into the back end of the rifle, but it's working well.
Has that got anything to do with the support hand, the left hand? 10 out of 10 for Kukalova.
Beautiful.
She may not win, but she's not going to be far off the lead, and that will set her up for a fantastic challenge in the pursuit tomorrow. 3 consecutive days of racing for the women. They've drawn the short straw in terms of race programme.
They certainly have. Friday, Saturday, Sunday racing. I think Kukalova is going to open up. She was holding even a little back, I think, on the second lap. Now she knows this is her potentially going for the win today.
It's going to be interesting to see what she's got left.
She's wasting time trying to trying to get rid of anything that's on her face. Looking good for the camera. Just charge around this track.
Well, I think she's just clearing the nasal passage, and if that's the case, that might be worth a couple of seconds if she can get some extra oxygen in there. Needs to go past the Ukrainian in front of her, Elena Pedrushna. She does so by moving over to the left. And now we go back to the range. This is Hammerschmidt, as you can see. At the moment after the first shoot, Kukalova, Guisdon, Crawford. Crawford's had a good start for the Canadians, 17 off the lead. Nikolaisen for Norway in 4, hints of Germany in 5.
I like the German policy this year, where if the athletes at IBU Cup second division race well, they will be brought in. Therefore, an athlete who's been at World Cup gets pushed down.
Great shooting, 8:27. Now that could be competitive. Rosanna Crawford, 5 in the prone, 5 in the stand. It's a good day for the North Americans. Well done to her. Hammerschmidt comes out, 2.2, the advantage over Akimova. Well, there's a surprise to see her skiing so fast. What about Rosanna Crawford? 10 out of 10, 16:11. She can't match that, but she's less than a minute behind, and that will almost certainly be her best race of the season so far.
Well, Kukalova's time 16:11. I think that just shows how good it is. Vanessa now almost a minute behind and still to shoot.
Crawford, incidentally, getting her first clear shoot of the season. That's what you call a confidence booster. She hit 9 out of 10 in the World Championships and finished 29th, so we could be looking at a top 20 for Rosanna Crawford.
Hey, the spectators, they're back on song, and they're behind Vanessa Hintz every shot of the way there.
Well, I think they know their best chances in the women's race. It would have been extremely good had Laura Dalmar been racing. Slightly hesitate to say an athlete's ill. They're not really ill, they're just under the weather. Bit of a cold, bit of a flu, bit of a throat, and it's just doctor's orders: don't race, you'll only make yourself worse.
Exactly, I look upon it as a little unwell, but everyone says, oh, I've been ill for 4 days or 3 days, but then you have to look after the injured. It's everything in as a biathlete.
Looking good for Chevalier. Don't forget, she had a tremendous week just before Christmas, and she's continued that form. 8:25 from Hammerschmidt is the current lead time. She's not going to quite match that, shooting in lane 5. So she's got another 15 meters to go on Hammerschmidt. So what's it going to be, 10, 11 seconds? 10.3 the margin. Great start for Chevalier. Guisdon wearing 7, just behind her is Vishneskaya of Kazakhstan. Now, Dorothy Vera under a bit of pressure. The leaders are shooting well, and there are some new names up there as well.
Will she stick to her normal rapid-fire routine? I think she will. There's no wind.
Lovely. Slight delay, but the same result.
Good one.
Dorothy Vera keeps the Italian fans happy. 8:16. Now this could challenge. She's even further down the range, and they all shoot on the lane where they zeroed. Obviously makes sense, provided the wind conditions have stayed the same. Only when the wind gets much stronger do they then start to look for a range, a lane that's not being affected. This is Vera's target. 9 maybe broke the 10 line, a little bit loose with that last shot, and that must have been way over to the right, Mike.
I thought there was a hesitation. I thought she's risking this last shot as soon as you break that routine, but as you said, it went a little bit wide.
Still, she's got away with it. She's back on course. We have Vera and Hammerschmidt vying for the lead up front. Here comes Kukalova, who started number 1, and she's going to be the first to finish. The question is, what sort of a time will she post? She's got a little bit of traffic out on the course. She's got to get them out the way and accelerate into the finish if she wants to win today. Puskarchikova. Judging by the shooting standard, 9 out of 10 isn't going to be good enough today. I can't think of anyone who skis fast enough on the women's tour, Mike, to be able to miss one and still think they're going to win. Well,
maybe Mäkäräinen. We often see Mäkäräinen after Christmas with really good form. She loves going back home and refreshing form.
First miss from Akimova. And from what I've just said, and I'll stand by it, one miss is one too many. She won't make it 2 sprint wins in succession. Now, the experience in the German team. Franziska Hildebrand just about to prepare for her final shoot as Kukalova comes into the finish. Again, Mike, I think you'd like to have seen her stand tall a little earlier.
Yes, I was surprised she got maximum, or took the time to get maximum glide there. Now she's on full pressure to the finish. And Hildebrand struggling with this, the spectators giving the support. It's in her mind.
22:40, the winning time here 2 years ago. She's 12 seconds inside that, and she's got herself a clear shoot. Actually, Vitkova won here with 22:40, having missed 2 targets. So she was on flying form. Good. That was a good day for the Czechs. But at the moment, it's another Czech who leads, and Gabi was down in 6th place on that occasion, and she missed 2 as well. Susan Dunkley, I'm sure she's caught up on Jessie Diggins's performance in the Tour de Ski. Oh. She's been good in the Prone this year, really good. Not today, not today. The chance is gone.
Bad start after Christmas. She was competitive, 7th position into the range. She needed those 5. And now it's a different race, a different mindset, and it's about chasing now. The wind has picked up a little bit. Saw the flags moving there in a little breeze.
Bescon was 0-0 in the last sprint, and that was the first time she'd gone clear this season. So 90% hit rate, you really have to be happy with 90% if you can maintain that all the way through the season.
Very much. Here's the little awkward climb that's been added to this course. Well, we'll maybe see it another time.
Duran Bear starts. Ooh, look at that. Now let's have a look at Duran Bear's time coming into the first shoot. She's up there with the fastest, beaten only by Justine Brezat. So surely the light is going green here. It does, by a massive margin, 10.8. And Duran Bear, the world champion from Kontiolahti, is on form.
Well, right behind her from Kontiolahti, Mäkäräinen is only half a second ski time behind her. Needs to hit 5 targets though.
Vera starting 25, Mäkäräinen starting 35, Domracheva starting number 50. Old rivalries resumed.
Makarainen being very careful. You just feel she's being so careful, and why not? You've got to try and get these first 5. She's got them.
Well, I think she was a second up on Duran Aber when that last target went down, but she was a little slower getting up off the mat, so it's going to be fairly even between those two. Hammerschmidt makes it 10 out of 10. Good shooting from her, and that puts her into a potential top 3 because she's still lying third after the first shoot. As we see hints come in, let's just remind you, Makarainen, Duran Aber, Hammerschmidt, Akimova, Vera, the top 5. Gabi Kukalova, who has finished already in 6th position after the first shoot. After the second shoot, Mike, Kukalova starting to impose herself.
She did. She's got 15 seconds. It's a good margin into that last lap. And Guisdon, we haven't seen much of Guisdon, but she's out already in 3rd position after that stand shoot. I'd love to see her remain in the top 5. I'd love to see her remain on the podium. Here's her teammate, Hojnish.
Hojnish from Szczał in Poland. Knocking on the door of the top 15 in many races this year, but always making 1 or 2 mistakes on the range. 4 is Podjefarova, and Guisdon started number 7, has had a good race. She's taken a minute and a half out of the Russian. Second place, 56.4 the margin. Now, what was the margin after the second shoot, Mike, between Kukalova and Guisdon? It was much less than that, I think.
It was, you're absolutely right, 34 seconds. So Kukalova really pushing the pace in the last lap.
Yeah.
Paced it well.
Here's someone who's won here before.
That's a positive start from Gusner. Remember the days when she'd always set top 3 fastest ski time. She's not quite as fast anymore after her back injury.
Yeah, 0-2 she shot on the occasion that she won. Watch her right eye just to see how relaxed she is for the last shot. Beautiful, really good shooting from Chevalier. My goodness, she's come on a pace this year. 10 out of 10, 16-11 can't be matched by Kukalova, but I think we're going to see a few French in the top 15, and they'll have an exciting day in the pursuit tomorrow. And of course, Mike, first couple of days of competition here are important for those, particularly those outside the top 15 of the World Cup standings.
Well, the mass start is, and I love the mass start, points all important. Without Dahlmeier, it's opened the whole structure of the season up a little.
Birkeland for Norway, shooting at an individual race pace. And missing, expensive. Already 22 seconds slower than the best. Dorothy Vera. Yeah, she's outside.
She's outside, 27 seconds into the range. She will shoot faster.
Just that little bit of movement into the target each time. Oh, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. She reminds me, she's the Simonader of the women's tour.
She doesn't think, she just reacts. That's exactly as she says, when she shoots her best, it just happens. Doesn't even remember sometimes it happening.
But she's got a bit of work to do on the tracks if she's going to match Kukalova. And don't forget, Kukalova has put in a very convincing last lap. 24 seconds behind for the best of the Italians.
Gerekova, 26th in Novo Mesto before Christmas, 29th, missing just 1 target. Now what's happened? Problem with the 5th and final round going into the chamber. And that's cost her.
Yeah, she missed 2 in the stand in the World Championships to ruin her chances of a good result. Puskarchikova into 6th position. So at the moment at the finish, we'll just update you on the positions there. Kukalova, Guisdon, Akimova, the top 3. Hildebrand into the home straight now, but 2 misses pushing her well over a minute behind. It's going to be a chasing start for her in the pursuit tomorrow, and she's got a lot of time to make up. Almost a minute and a half. Now that's 600, maybe if the conditions are fast, could be 650 meters. She starts behind the race leader, maybe even more.
And then she'll be under even more pressure, trying to close the gap down, trying to pull some time back, and you often have to take risk coming into the range. Shoot at a sort of stress where you not normally would be shooting.
Now here's someone who's made an impression this year. Hauser, 7th place in the World Cup standings for Austria, and actually more good news for the Austrians. They got a win on the IBU Cup as well this week, so they're on a high, particularly in the women's team.
Oh well, Lisa Teresa is normally the best shot. She's 92 hit rate in the pro, 87 in the stand. Not today. That was only 70% overall.
And rare misses from Justine Brezard as well, who started skiing very, very hard. Maybe too hard, maybe trying to stay up with Duran Abert, and she's paid a price. 23.58 into 5th position, just going in outside that 130 marker. She'll have good company for the pursuit tomorrow. Generally, if you can stay within 2.5 minutes of the race winner, you will get a start in the pursuit, the top 60 qualifying.
She's got a full 12.8 seconds ahead of Kukalova. Duran Abert has into the range, but she's blown that with the miss.
Well, she's going to have to produce one of her best skis if she is going to challenge. 16.11, she would have been comfortably inside. Obviously on very, very good form, so watch out for Duran Abert over the next couple of days. Selina Gasparian for Switzerland across the line. Just trying to pick up on her position. She's 153, having missed 3 targets. Hammerschmidt a lot better on the range. She's gone into 2nd place. The crowd a little slow to pick up on Hammerschmidt's finish. She could have done it with some help there. Now Mäkäräinen, she's inside the leading time as well, and she's got an advantage of what, 5 or 6 seconds over Kukalova, or is it more?
It's over Kukalova. She's got a full 20 seconds.
Wow. Well, she's blown 25 and she's missed again. So Mäkäräinen throws her chance away. That's all good news for Kukalova. Don't forget Mäkäräinen sitting 2nd in the World Cup standings. So someone else will breathe a sigh of relief.
Dobracheva is skiing well. First time back. It's 655 days since she last took part in a World Cup race.
There's the first miss. Is it the skiing or the shooting that's most likely to be affected from the absence?
By the look, it's everything. No, I think the fitness, the skiing isn't quite there. Therefore, it also makes it a little harder in the shooting. The recoveries aren't as fast, but she's still competitive.
Yeah, breathing hard. I'm looking forward to seeing her on an uphill section just to see if she flows as beautifully as she used to.
And look at the drills, Patrick.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, you're 50, 100 meters away from the range and you haven't got your ski poles on yet, so she's rusty. She's not quite as sharp as she was, as expected.
Settle for World Cup points?
I think she'd be happy with that. I think if she gets her 5 stands, she could move into the top 25, 20 even. Still that beautiful flowing technique.
Still skis the same. Hernisch for Poland, 152. She is also in good company as we see Chevalier just crossed the line, 30.6 behind. Good race from Chevalier. She shot clear, lost a little bit of time in the range, but I think she'll be pretty happy with that. Now, talking about Dobracheva, Mike, skiing exactly the same as she used to, but techniques have moved on.
There's more, certainly in the uphill, there's wider stance on the skis, there's more choppy reactive skiing. I'm sure she'll adapt her own unique technique to cater for more modern thinking. And if you've got to move faster, you've got to put more tempo in as well.
Osbu for Norway. Flatland, of course, the last Norwegian to win here. This is the venue where Livgreda Skjelbreid, as she was then, was so dominant back in 2004. Dorothy Vera. Well, when she shoots clear, you expect to see her challenge for a top position, but it's not happened today. Struggling a little, maybe not sure whether she was unwell over the Christmas period, but certainly looks as though she hasn't done as much sharp training as she needed, because she is what, some 40 seconds. Certainly you'd expect her to match Kukalova. Heike misses the 10th shot of the 10.
She was very good as a junior, and you know, Heike is showing in the senior category that she's so competitive as well. And with Mickey Grice, just thinking, of course, Mickey Grice, former, what, 3 times gold medalist from 2006 Olympics, and many times World Cup winner. He's taken on the role of developing the Swiss, being based there at Lenzerheide, and it seems to be working well.
Well, he's got some talent in the women's team, particularly with the Gasparin sisters. Zhangling Tang coming out at the same time as Heike of Switzerland, and they can work together on the next lap. It's a beautiful picture here today, picture postcard stuff with the fresh snow we had last night, the skies clearing this morning, and there are our standings. Kukalova started number 1, she's sitting number 1. It's not so often that happens in a biathlon race. 22:28 the time for them to beat. Most of her rivals have missed targets. Durana Bear, Makarainen missing targets. Durana Bear, I think, is the only one who might be able to do something on her last lap. She was, what, 15 seconds behind when we last saw her?
She was, and I think she's skiing much faster, so she might well be able to pull back those, well, nearly 16 seconds. Not impossible. I was just thinking, when we last saw bib number 1 winning the race, we've definitely seen it with Ole Einar Bjørndalen over the years, also with Martin Fourcade. I can't think if we've seen it in the women's field for a long time.
San Filippo. That's high. Zhima for Ukraine. She'll know that her chance of a top 5 has gone with those 2 misses. The wind actually picking up for the later starters, so no wonder that most of the big names elected to go early on. We'll try and let you know how Domracheva is going. She's gone through the first shoot, Domracheva, and has got herself, she's come away with just 1 miss, so 4 hits out of 5. Probably lost more time with her drills than she did with the missed shot. Yes, and
Durana Bear is now 23 seconds down. She went out fast, but she's losing time to Kukalova.
As things lie in the finish, we've got Kukalova, Chevalier and Hammerschmidt 1, 2 and 3, 35 seconds separating them. So that's more good news for the Czech Republic, because that means there'll be a decent margin. Durana Bear actually has just gone into second, as you can see, 24 seconds having gone into the range. What was she? 13 seconds clear of Kukalova going into the range. So that's a huge swing, Mike, of what, 37 seconds.
It's incredible, and I think that of course Durana Bear missing that 1 shot as well, but I think Kukalova was so calm, skied the first lap relatively easy, next one hard, last one flat out.
No, I hope she hasn't injured the left leg, and it's just a question of getting the air back into the lungs, which is often the way to do it. Rest the elbows on the knees.
I think it was her fingertips. Often at -8, -9, it's your fingertips when you've been used to such warm weather. And they're agony.
Kaisa Makarainen has had 2 laps to ski, and she still might challenge Durana Bear for that 2nd spot. And if that's the case, that's really important for her World Cup standing. She will do. Makarainen, despite 2, goes into 2nd. With 1 hit, she would have been the winner today. Wow, she'll be frustrated when she sees that. But that is a tremendous race for Kaisa Mäkäräinen.
Susan Dunkley, not her day to do it. It was before Christmas, but certainly not today. She's, well, she'll end up, I'm sure, outside top 35.
Yeah, Mäkäräinen missed 4 last time she raced in the sprint here, and that pushed her down into 20th position. I think she could have missed 4 today, and she'd still have been up in the top 15. She's on good form. Obviously had a good Christmas break up at Joensuu in Finland. The World Masters up there again this year, Mike.
The World Masters, there's a team going out, Patrick. Are you going to join us?
It's a one-word answer, and it's not 3 letters long.
Yeah, Joensuu is a lovely place, 30-lane range, obviously World Championship range, and always a good atmosphere.
So, big moment. Daria Domracheva used to be very competent and comfortable with the standing shoot. Let's see if anything's changed. The Olympic champion, triple Olympic champion from Sochi. Yeah, she's not rushing.
No. She's got her own clothing brand now as well. She's moved on a little bit in life, but I'm quite sure she'll get her magic back in biathlon as well.
5 out of 5. Oh, no. So 8 out of 10, 80% room for improvement, but pretty impressive nonetheless after a long time out from World Cup racing. Do we deduce from this, Mike, that she will challenge the likes of Kukalova and Mäkäräinen and Duran-Aubert and, of course, Lara Dahlmeier?
I really think so. And in fact, I was just thinking, even as close as Sunday's race, she'll race again tomorrow. You never know, she might have some of the feeling back. Everything's a bit slow today. She's not overstressing, but I think it's there within her to really challenge.
And then keep an eye on her for the World Championships in Hochfilzen. .91 starters in all today, and we've still got 40 odd to go through the second shoot as we watch Miriam Gusner come down the home street. She's hugely popular here, despite the fact that she's really done nothing for 2-3 seasons on the tour. 148 behind, 3 misses in all. Each of those misses will have cost her 26-27 seconds. So still she's behind on ski speed, but it's the shooting that's so important. Nadine Huschler. Drawn in Group 4.
Her sister racing today as well. They always seem to end up on the result sheet in very much the same area. Well, the ski time not particularly fast, but the shooting was, and the shooting was accurate.
Yeah, the Huschler's similar to the Estonian sisters in the cross, the Schmiegen sisters in the cross country.
Often it works well. It's pushing siblings, pushing each other on.
Birkeland, 8 out of 10. Well, there have been days when 8 has been good enough, but not anymore. Leskinskaite not the first faller.
I was going to say, if you're going to fall well to slow your pace, to get straight back up on the skis and to protect the rifle.
Yeah, she did well to protect the rifle on that occasion. Sanfilippo just across the line for the Italians, 0-1 still 128 to make up. Let's just recap the top positions. Kukalova with 22-28, looking more and more likely to be the winner. Her second World Cup victory in a row, if it turns out that way. Makarainen 2, Duran-Aubert 3. Three of the biggest names up there. Chevalier, Hammerschmidt, Dorothy Vera. Now, there's one person who will be regretting not racing. Lara Dalmar might, because number 2 and 3 in the World Cup standings behind her have finished 1 and 2 here.
Yeah, it's a big setback for her. And the Germans really wanted Dalmar here. At the moment, the first German position is 5th. And then we have to go all the way down to, what, 15th, with Hildebrand as the second fastest German.
And actually, we shouldn't ignore Duran-Aubert as well, because she's lying 4th in the World Cup standing. So the situation about as bad as it could possibly be for Lara Dalmar, with her 3 big rivals on the tour, all scoring good points and all in a position to win again tomorrow in the pursuit.
But lots of points at stake.
Well, it's what we needed. It livens the tour up. There were 98 points. I suspect by tomorrow night we will have a new leader.
Yeah, it's back to Dobracheva. She's still got that beautiful, most efficient technique, and the tempo is there. The pace isn't bad, considering the 655 days since she last raced at World Cup.
Yeah, I think she should get a good cheer as she comes back into the stadium.
Responsibilities of a mother now changing her life almost totally. She can't dedicate quite as much to herself and her training. Duran-Aubert proved that it works, no problem.
Monnier for France, 2 misses, the best of the French, obviously Duran-Aubert, but Chevalier is 1 place behind her in 4th, and then we go all the way down to Anaïs Bescon, who was 17 before Monnier came in 9th position. They've got such a strong team. The relays for me this year between Germany and France.
Very much. Just looking, that's Monnier missing 2 targets, and she really is a 9th position. Take those 2 targets away, really, she would be threatening for a victory. Good to see Hilde Fenn back in the World Cup action. Had a couple of seasons where she was raced a lot, just at, what, 21-year-old in the World Cup, so many races. And she had a bad couple of years. Good to see her back.
Now, as we watch Caroline Huschler, just a reminder, we go to Ruhpolding next week. And we start the programme there with 2 relays, so that's going to be the second relay of the season. Looking forward to that already. I think we've got interesting situations for the team events. We have a sprint and a pursuit on the last couple of days in Ruhpolding. And Tolz, we have the second individual, the all race. And then we have a mass start and a relay. So an interesting programme there as well.
That'll be good. I'm wondering how many teams will send their best players there. They'll be thinking about the World Championships.